We have all had those nights when our beautiful imported cars have suffered the loss of a tire, or maybe just had a bit too much blood on the hood. After those crazy nights, one wishes they had an army of underpaid migrant workers. Well, Los Santos Customs has just that. Here at LS Customs, we can fix any problem in seconds, literally seconds. So calm down and enjoy our quick service. But we warn you, don't waste our time. Welcome back to the continuation of Tecatos, Temple Drive.
Ballas for life.
From youth, one is taught about the concept of family. Our parents tend to build our knowledge of togetherness from an innate instinct to a developed mechanism that could be used for protection. Therefore, it is understood why communities are formed, or in this case, gangs. Gangs are an interesting extension to the concept of family. They are created as exclusive sub-communities which include members from the neighborhood. But in its inception, gangs in America were fairly infantile and solely used as social groups, which at times could be violent. There was no organization to their crime. Sure, they hustled for money and waged war against others and/or amongst one another at times, but it was based on a live from day-to-day mentality. It was like the start of the Italian-American Mafia. Before they were organized, they were petty crime gangs with silly rituals. At first, when there is no sight of leaving the hood, all one could survive on is through social currency. One makes a living through honor codes, blast on this fool, rob this motherfucker, and so on. Yet once the opportunity to make money comes into people's lives, it changes everything. Now there is something more tangible to trade in the hood. Therefore, social codes become ineffective, and homies stop believing in the power of gangs and start enjoying the benefits of being an individual with a lot of money.
This phenomenon occurred all throughout San Andreas in the 90s. Gangs were witnessing a huge drop in loyalty, but no gang suffered more from this than the grocery families. It would be easy to say that this event is ironic, but that would be too easy. It would also be easy to claim drugs, money, and power as the culprits to the demise of Grove and the rise of the Ballas, but the lack of proper leadership was the issue, and the Ballas didn't hesitate to take advantage of Grove's weakness.
My pops is a Balla OG. Used to be Grove at one point when Temple was still rolling with him. Once Temple split from those said trippin' pussies, he saw the light, I guess. My pops was the one who shot up CJ's mama's crib. He also had CJ and Sweet running like pussies in a drive-by.
They both felt like they ran San Andreas, but even when CJ was running Grove on his own, he still couldn't hold on to it. At least CJ gave a shit about the families though, cause Sweet was the worst. I come from a world where people in it know they ain't good. At times we have problems with motherfuckers on our own sets and have to deal with them, but we aren't dumb enough to do it openly. Sweet was just plain stupid. He would even blast on his own homies just for a girl that probably wasn't even his. Cause I heard Sweet got his name in the pen, and I don't think it was cause he was a nice guy. Let's just say he served a good salad for lunch.
Right, guys, cause of gay?
Sweet would call CJ when he fucked up, which was a lot. CJ was always saving Sweet's ass, but that was CJ. He was constantly guided by other people's moves. And if you don't know your history, this is what happened. Grove Street started the beef between them and the Seville Boulevard set. Then Seville Boulevard dipped and started the beef with Temple, and finally Temple helped the Ballas take over for good. And like I said before, it had to do with some stupid shit. I remember the time Sweet was knocking off a Seville Boulevard OG's girl, so they went to kill him. But CJ came to the rescue and ended up killing like 5 motherfuckers from Grove. There was no way they were gonna stay on top. Sweet didn't take this life serious, and even though CJ wanted to change Grove for the better, he just couldn't. He didn't have the mindset for it.
We have a recording of CJ and Sweet after the shooting of the 5 Seville Boulevard members. The crash unit of the LSPD bugged Sweet's car, and one could hear that Sweet wasn't worried about the crumbling state of his gang or the people looking to take over.
Shit is crazy, bro. We gotta to bring the families back together. One glass no green ain't no way to run the family.
Man, Seville family's gone too far this time.
One could hear Sweet being concerned about hooking CJ up with the girl during a car chase gun battle. He didn't take responsibility for what was going on in Grove either. At this point, Temple realized it was time to move in on Grove and set them up. In the hood, both the cops and gangsters have a symbiotic relationship. Both parties feed off of one another very well. In San Andreas, this relationship involved Crash and most gangs, but the Ballas saw their relationship with Crash as a way to put them ahead of all other gangs. Crash was used as enforcers and facilitators.
The entire Crash unit was corrupt. All of them.
They would give gangs the opportunity to sell whatever they wanted, and if there were any people who got in their way of their blind eye, they would suddenly be able to see the threat and take it out. The badge brings a lot of power.
The Crash unit has had some bad apples, but for the most part, we all try to help the community from rotting. The Los Santos Police Department has the city mapped out and divided by gang influence. Whichever gang has the most influence in a specific area will map that particular area with the gang's color. In the 90s, the Ballas were in charge of most of the important parts of Los Santos.
Therefore, it doesn't seem strange that they got some favoritism.
Pibwasser.
Tastes like shit.
Refreshing. The official beer of... What's the name of the show?
On December 17, 1992, the Temple Drive Ballas set up Grove Street by leading them to believe there was an opportunity to kill 5 major Ballas set leaders. They worked alongside GSF OGs like Big Smoke, Ryder, and 3 Deep, as well as Crash Unit officers Frank Tenpenny and Eddie Pulaski. Big Smoke and Ryder were used as messengers. They both were instructed to tell Sweet about the time and location of the Ballas leaders meetup. Sweet was told that the meetup would be downtown by Temple Drive, but the plan of the Ballas was to ambush Sweet and CJ at a GSF rendezvous point underneath Mulholland intersection. Then if the plan failed and both CJ and Sweet were still alive, the Ballas would have Crash lock them up. The Ballas' plan went as expected.
There were bodies lying everywhere. At least 13 Ball members were killed. About 20 Grove members. And not to mention car parts from explosions were found everywhere.
Sweet suffered severe gunshot wounds and got locked up. CJ, on the other hand, ended up doing the Ballas' bidding for them. In other words, he was their bitch.
Today, the Vagos have the most control. Then comes the Ballas, and finally Grove.
Though we know the story about CJ reclaiming GSF, reuniting the families, and setting Sweet free, no one talks about his final fall and how the Ballas found their way back to the top. Nowadays, we still see the fight continue. Grove tries to gain traction, but the Ballas shut them down. It seems to be a never-ending game in the life of Tecatos.
Hey, I apologize for covering up, but I don't want my drug dealer to see me.